There's a moment every man faces. That confusing, gut-twisting phase when a woman who once seemed drawn to you suddenly becomes distant. She starts replying slower. She avoids eye contact. Her warmth turns cold, and you're left wondering what you did wrong. But here's the truth. Most of the time, you didn't do anything wrong. In fact, you might have done everything right. The closer she feels to you, the more real it gets for her, and that's when fear creeps in. A woman's instinct can be unpredictable when emotions get deep. When she begins to truly care, she starts to feel vulnerable. And that vulnerability can make her push you away, not because she's lost interest, but because she's overwhelmed by what she's feeling. Her guard goes up, her mind races, and she starts overthinking everything. This behavior confuses men because we see connection as something to hold on to, while she sees it as something that could expose her emotionally. So, instead of leaning in, she pulls back, not to hurt you, but to protect herself. And if you chase harder, if you start trying to fix it, you only make her retreat even further. The key is understanding what's really happening underneath her actions. The silence, the mixed signals, the sudden distance. They all mean something. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you'll stop reacting emotionally and start responding with calm, quiet strength. In this video, we'll break down why a woman pushes you away when she wants you the most, what's going on in her mind, and most importantly, what you should do about it. 1. Fear of vulnerability. When a woman starts to develop real feelings for you, something powerful, and often terrifying, happens inside her. She begins to lose control over how much she cares. That emotional openness, that raw exposure, is what triggers her deepest fear. Vulnerability. See, women are naturally emotional beings. They feel deeply, and when that emotion starts to connect to someone, especially a man she respects, her instincts go on high alert. Because vulnerability means giving you access to parts of her she normally hides, her insecurities, her fears, her past pain, her true self. And that kind of openness doesn't come easy. It threatens her sense of safety. So when she starts catching herself thinking about you too much, missing you more than she expected, or caring about what you think of her, that's when the walls start going up. She'll create distance not because she wants space from you, but because she's scared of what she's feeling. She's afraid that if she lets herself fall, you might not be there to catch her. Many men mistake this pullback as rejection. They panic, start chasing harder, send longer messages, demand explanations, and that's where they lose her. Because in her mind, if you react emotionally, it confirms her fear that she can't fully trust you with her heart. What she's looking for isn't reassurance through words, but emotional stability through your presence. When a woman pulls away because of vulnerability, the best thing you can do is stay composed. Don't chase. Don't question her space. Just be steady. Keep living your life. Stay grounded. And let her see that her emotions don't shake your center. That calm energy makes her feel safe. It tells her, he's not going anywhere, and he's not desperate for my validation. Eventually, when she feels that your presence is consistent and unbothered, her guard begins to lower again. She starts coming closer, not because you chased her, but because your stability gave her the security to be vulnerable. Remember this. A woman's pullback often isn't a sign of rejection. It's her subconscious way of testing if she's safe enough to open up. If you understand that, and you don't react out of fear, you'll stand out from every other man she's known. Next, let's talk about something just as powerful. How women test your emotional strength once their feelings start to grow. 2. Testing your strength. When a woman starts to feel something real for you, she doesn't always express it with affection. Sometimes she expresses it with resistance. She becomes distant, moody, or even challenges you emotionally, not because she's lost interest, but because she's testing your strength. This isn't a game, it's instinct. Deep down, a woman wants to know if the man she's opening her heart to can handle her emotions, the highs and the lows, the uncertainty, the moments when she's not easy to read. She wants to see if you're grounded enough to stay composed when she isn't, because to her, that's the sign of a man she can trust. When emotions start running high, she'll push you away in subtle ways. Maybe she cancels plans out of nowhere. Maybe she stops texting as much. Maybe she says something cold that doesn't match how she really feels. What she's doing is observing, watching how you react. If you start chasing, over-explaining, or showing frustration, it tells her your emotions depend on her behavior, and that makes her feel unsafe. But if you remain calm, collected, and respectful of her space, it sends a completely different message. It tells her that you're not controlled by the situation. You're grounded in who you are. This is where most men fail. They think that being understanding means constantly checking in, reassuring her, or trying to fix whatever's wrong. But real understanding is knowing when to step back. It's trusting that she'll come back when she's ready, and not letting her temporary distance make you lose focus on your purpose. When you remain unshaken, you're showing her something she doesn't see often. A man who doesn't get emotional just because she does. And that calm presence is powerful. It tells her she can lean on you, even when she's unsure of herself. The irony is, the moment she realizes you're not chasing her approval, that's when she starts craving your presence again. She feels drawn back because your strength creates emotional safety, something rare and magnetic. So next time she becomes distant or cold, don't take it personally. Don't argue, don't question, and don't chase. Just stay composed. That silence, that patience, that calmness, it speaks louder than any words could. And when she sees that you're not shaken by her emotional storms, she begins to trust you more. That's when the real connection starts to grow. Now, let's go deeper into what happens emotionally inside her when attraction becomes too intense, when she starts feeling something so strong that it scares her. 3. Overwhelmed by emotion. When attraction runs deep, it doesn't always feel good to a woman. In fact, it can feel chaotic, almost out of control. She finds herself thinking about you when she's supposed to be focused on work. She replays your conversations in her head. She starts to care what you think of her, and that realization hits her like a wave she can't escape. That's when she begins to pull away. Not because the connection is fading, but because it's becoming too powerful for her to manage calmly. Most men don't understand this part. They assume distance equals disinterest, but for many women, distance equals emotional overload. When feelings hit too hard, she instinctively tries to get her balance back. She'll create space, not because she wants to lose you, but because she needs to regain a sense of control over her emotions. It's not that she doesn't want you. It's that she's losing control over how much she does. And that lack of control makes her uncomfortable. A woman's mind often races faster than her heart can process. She starts asking herself, am I moving too fast? What if I get hurt again? What if he's not who I think he is? The emotions that once felt exciting suddenly start to feel risky. This is the moment where your reaction decides everything. If you panic, if you chase, if you start asking, what's wrong? You feed the storm inside her. But if you remain calm, grounded and patient, you become the one steady thing in the middle of her chaos. That's what eventually draws her back. Sometimes the best move is silence, not cold silence, but confident space. It allows her emotions to settle. It gives her the chance to miss you in peace. Because no woman can truly process her feelings when she's being chased. She needs quiet to feel the weight of your absence. You must understand, when emotions are overwhelming, she's not looking for grand gestures. She's looking for emotional safety, and safety comes from your stability, not your words. A steady man who doesn't force connection, who simply allows it to breathe, becomes unforgettable to her. And here's the powerful part. Once her emotions settle and she realizes you didn't push or demand, she'll come back stronger. Because in her heart, she'll remember one thing. You handled her emotions better than she could herself. Now that we understand the emotional storm that pulls her away, let's explore the deeper roots, the things from her past that silently shape her reactions in the present. 4. Past wounds. Resurface. Every woman carries emotional history, moments that shaped how she loves, trusts, and protects herself. Maybe she once gave her heart to someone who took it for granted. Maybe she opened up to a man who made her feel unseen. Or maybe she's never truly felt safe enough to be herself around anyone. Those experiences don't just fade. They build walls, quiet, invisible barriers that show up the moment she starts to feel something real again. So when you come into her life and start treating her right, it should make her feel secure, right? But often, it does the opposite. Because the better you treat her, the more it reminds her of everything she's afraid to lose. Your consistency, your effort, your presence, all of it wakes up those old memories that whisper, "Don't fall too hard. Remember what happened last time." That's why a woman can push away the man who genuinely cares for her. It's not logic, it's defense. Her heart wants connection, but her mind remembers pain. That conflict creates confusion inside her. She starts sending mixed signals, feeling close one moment and distant the next. She's trying to protect herself while wanting to let you in at the same time. And here's where most men make the mistake. They take her distance personally. They think they did something wrong. They get frustrated, start arguing, or withdraw completely. But if you can recognize that her reaction isn't about you, it's about her past, then you start playing on a higher level of awareness. When she pulls back, don't chase and don't retaliate. Stay patient. Keep your energy calm and consistent. You don't have to fix her wounds. That's not your job. But you can create an environment where she feels safe enough to lower her guard naturally. That happens when she sees you're not judging her silence, not punishing her hesitation, not demanding her attention. You simply stand steady. Over time, she'll notice that you don't mirror her fear. You don't fall apart when she needs space. You don't make her feel guilty for protecting herself. That's when trust starts to grow, not from grand promises, but from emotional steadiness. Understand this. A woman's past pain doesn't mean she's broken. It means she's cautious. The more deeply she's been hurt before, the slower she'll move toward something real. But when you show that you're patient enough to let her unfold at her pace, you'll earn something most men never do: her emotional loyalty. Now, let's move to another powerful reason why women suddenly distance themselves, not because of pain or confusion, but because of something even harder for them to admit: the fear of losing control. 5. Losing control. There's a point in every deep connection where a woman realizes something unsettling. She's no longer fully in control of her emotions. She catches herself thinking about you when she shouldn't. She starts planning her day around you without meaning to. She begins to care about your opinion more than she expected. And for a woman who's used to being in control, that can be terrifying. Control gives her comfort. It's her way of protecting herself from disappointment, rejection, and emotional pain. But when she starts to fall for you, she feels that control slipping. Suddenly, you have the power to affect her mood with a single message, a tone of voice, or even silence. That realization triggers resistance. She pulls back, not because she's losing interest, but because she's trying to regain control over her emotions. This is when she might become unpredictable. One day warm and affectionate, the next distant and quiet. She's not trying to confuse you, she's trying to calm herself down. Inside, she's thinking, I need to get myself together. I'm feeling too much. The more she feels, the more she fears she's losing herself in the process. And here's what most men don't realize. When a woman senses that she's losing emotional control, she'll test you in subtle ways to see if you'll lose yours too. If you react with frustration or insecurity, it confirms her fear that emotions make both of you unstable. But if you stay centered, calm, and composed, you give her something she deeply needs: balance. She doesn't want a man who takes control of her. She wants a man who stays in control of himself. When you remain steady during her emotional highs and lows, you remind her that passion doesn't have to mean chaos. It can mean strength, patience, and safety. The best way to handle this phase is to lead with emotional calm. Don't chase, don't demand answers, and don't try to decode her every mood. Just live your life. Be consistent with your energy. Keep your tone grounded and your movements slow. That subtle confidence will make her feel something she can't explain: peace. And peace, for a woman who's falling for you, is the most addictive feeling there is. Once she sees that she can feel deeply and still feel safe around you, her resistance fades. She stops running. She stops trying to control the connection, because she realizes she doesn't need to. You've already done that through your stability. Now that we've seen how control and fear shape her reactions, let's look at something even deeper: how your own behavior reflects back to her emotions. The moment she starts to feel connected, she unconsciously mirrors what you project. 6. The mirror effect. Every woman, consciously or not, mirrors the energy of the man she's emotionally connected to. When she starts to care, she becomes highly sensitive to your tone, your attitude, and your behavior. The way you handle her distance determines how deeply she trusts you. If you panic, she feels panic. If you stay calm, she feels calm. Her emotions reflect yours like a mirror. That's the power you hold without realizing it. When a woman pulls away, she's not only reacting to her own fears, she's also reacting to the energy you give off in that moment. If she senses desperation, anxiety, or neediness, it triggers her instinct to protect herself. But if she senses calm confidence, the kind of energy that says, I'm good either way, it draws her closer. That balance tells her she's dealing with a man who doesn't depend on her reactions to feel secure. The mistake many men make is letting her emotional shifts control their mood. They go from confident to confused, steady to needy, all because her behavior changed. What they don't realize is that she's observing all of it. She wants to see if your emotions are grounded, if you're capable of standing firm when she wavers. You have to understand that a woman doesn't want to be your source of emotional stability. She wants to join your stability. She wants to feel like she's stepping into the presence of a man whose world doesn't fall apart when she becomes uncertain. The stronger your frame, the safer she feels. So when she starts acting distant or confusing, don't try to solve it with words. Don't pressure her into talking. Instead, let your silence and actions do the work. Keep showing up in your purpose. Keep your posture relaxed. Keep your communication minimal but consistent. That quiet steadiness communicates confidence louder than any reassurance ever could. And here's the fascinating part. Once she sees you remain the same no matter how she behaves, she begins to mirror that same steadiness back to you. Her emotions calm down. Her texts become warmer. Her tone softens. Why? Because your energy gave her emotional safety. You showed her what it looks like to lead with emotional control. Men who understand the mirror effect never chase. They don't play games. They simply understand that their emotional state dictates the direction of the connection. If you're calm, she feels drawn. If you're chaotic, she retreats. It's that simple. Remember this: the most attractive thing to a woman isn't looks, money, or status. It's emotional strength, the ability to stay centered no matter what. When you master that, she won't just want you, she'll trust you. Now that you understand how your energy shapes her emotions, let's finish with the most important part. What you should actually do when she pulls away, and how to respond in a way that reclaims your power and respect. 7. What you should do. When a woman pulls away, every instinct in you will tell you to chase her, to call more, to text more, to ask what's wrong, to fight for her attention. But that instinct is emotional, and it's exactly what pushes her further away. Because when a woman is overwhelmed, she doesn't need words, she needs space. And the man who can give her that without falling apart is the man she remembers. So what should you do? First, pause. Don't react out of fear. Let her pullback be what it is, a moment, not a message. Understand that her distance doesn't always mean she's done. Sometimes she's just resetting her emotions. If you rush in trying to fix things, you interrupt that process. Give her silence. Let her energy come back naturally. Second, stay consistent with your life. Keep your routine. Go to the gym. Focus on your work. Stay social. The more you keep moving forward, the more grounded you remain. A woman can feel when a man's world doesn't stop revolving just because she took a step back. That independence is magnetic. It makes her respect you more, even if she doesn't say it. Third, communicate with calm, not emotion. If she reaches out, don't bring up her distance or ask why she's acting differently. Just talk normally. Keep your tone light, your presence steady. It tells her you're not holding resentment or fear. That alone builds trust. She realizes you're not waiting to argue, you're just there, unbothered and solid. Fourth, never beg for clarity. When she's ready, she'll open up. If you pressure her, she'll close off. But if you give her emotional space and respond with quiet confidence, she'll start to miss your energy. She'll think about how steady you were when she pulled away, and that memory will draw her back stronger than any text ever could. Finally, focus on being centered. This is what separates men who lose women from those who naturally attract them back. Women respect men who lead with emotional stability. When she senses that you're not controlled by your feelings, she begins to trust your strength. And that trust reignites the attraction that distance once dimmed. The truth is, when a woman pushes you away, she's giving you a choice. React emotionally and lose her respect, or stay calm and become unforgettable. Most men fail this test. They let fear control them. But the few who understand that patience and composure are the real power, they stand out. So when she pulls away, don't chase, don't collapse. Just breathe, stay grounded, and let her come to you. Because the moment she realizes you're not chasing, that's when she starts chasing you. Now, let's wrap everything up with a final thought to keep in mind whenever you find yourself in this situation. When a woman pushes you away, don't see it as rejection. See it as a test of your emotional strength. In those moments, your reaction defines you. If you stay calm, patient, and steady, she'll feel your strength more than any words could ever express. Most men lose control when they feel distance. Strong men don't. They understand that attraction isn't maintained through chasing, it's built through composure. So let her pull away. Let her breathe. And when she looks back, because she will, she'll remember the one thing that set you apart. You stayed grounded when she couldn't.